SoundCartel.
From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. Are you struggling to get your team back to the office? Could FOMO be the answer? Marnie Brkenshire is founder of leadership and performance consultancy Uncapped Potential. She offers 3 practical strategies to reignite connection and creativity in your workplace. And as Marnie tells Jeff Waters, it has a lot to do with creating the fear of missing out. But that doesn't include simply handing out free fruit.
Well, I think there's 3 things, Jeff. So they are creating an environment and a cultural premise that is very people purpose driven. So what's in it for me? If you want me there, what are you going to give for me? The second thing is I think it's time to bring back training. And the third thing is that it is time to really challenge the HR and culture experts to come up with some very kind of cool ideas that connect to the purpose and the vision and the growth story, but that create a little sense of FOMO. Like, I don't want to miss out on this. I'm going to go in because I don't want to miss out because it's really cool and it's meaningful and valuable.
So let's break those down, Marnie. Could you please explain to me, or expand at least, on the first of those 3 ideas of yours?
So I think one of the downsides of our during and post-pandemic ways of working is that on all of the thousands of online meetings that I've participated in or sat in, I categorise as essentially work in progress meetings. So there's no real conversation about me or where I'm at. It's really just, this is what the business needs from you. Can you get this work done? Who's doing what, where, and what happens next? Really transactional.
Here's your deadline. Go away and do it.
Right, exactly. And here's the problem with that. It's not leading, it's managing. So our leaders have become very transactional. And great leaders are great because they actually invest time in inspiring, motivating, coaching and teaching others, developing the next generation of talent. And you just simply can't do that when the interactions are so one-dimensional like that. So solution 1 is about leaders carving out time in the office that's very people purpose driven. I'm going to interact with you, not about task, not about work in progress, but around collaborating, coaching, creating teachable moments where we're networking, where we're building relationships, and then we're creating the space for the creativity that leads to innovation and new ways of working. Has to just be very people purpose driven and not task driven. Some of the clients that we've been working with is what's started to happen is this investment in the individual. You know, where are you at? What do you want to do? What's in it for you? What makes this job enjoyable? What are the things that frustrate you? How can I remove those barriers? What would you like to learn next? What would you like to be involved in? Those types of conversations are starting to happen where leaders are learning about the valuable skills and contribution that people can make in other areas, or how to expand them, or how to actually link that into some of the growth and innovation objectives. And then the people, even some that you would ordinarily think just weren't up for that type of conversation, are now learning about those people, getting opportunities from those conversations. And they're saying, well, hang on, what about me? So, you know, I want to do something different, or I want to learn something different, or I'd like to be exposed to something different. But if you're not having the people purpose driven conversations at all, then, well, why is it any different if I'm sitting in the office versus at home in my pajamas?
That's all fascinating, I have to say. The second aspect that you mentioned was, and it's a nice segue from what you were just saying, is bringing back training. What do you mean by that?
I think organisationally, most organisations have adopted technological advances, which I think is great. moved to a very micro-learning style approach to teaching new skills and disciplines. Mini little learning videos that are generic. Some organisations are more sophisticated and they're customising them, but they're very one-dimensional. It's back in that very online environment. And I think it's highly ineffective as a learning and development strategy. I think that businesses could do some very simple things. Find the expert in your business who can talk about a specific topic. Get them to put some sandwiches on and bring everybody in and have, what we call the kind of lunch and learn, but make it really fun and interesting. And HR can support the delivery or execution of the public speaking piece if that helps. But you create a buzz around it where, everyone sort of talks about it afterwards and they're like, well, that was just really informative and really interesting. And then the word passes through and then people feel like, wow, I'm going to go to the next one. So these aren't mandated things, but these are value add learning opportunities for people delivered by people in the business. So that really important piece around context and relatability. And it can create a real environment of learning that people want to tap into. Then if more formal learning is delivered by external experts, that also needs to be really contextualised, because classroom learning not done well is a waste of money, and I agree with that from an HR strategy. But delivering micro topics from subject matter experts is just interesting and more valuable. So bring back training, move away from the micro learning as much or the reliance on it as much, and create lots of human interaction moments where people are connecting and where there is that true sense of belonging to something that's valuable and meaningful.
How practically can I institute your idea number 3, which is to create a sense of fear of missing out for the employees if they don't come to the office?
So I think CEOs need to be challenging their HR leads and their culture experts or their OD team to come up with ideas that are very much connected to the purpose and the vision and the growth story of the business. Get rid of the fruit bowls and the birthday cakes, right? No one is inspired or motivated or coming to work for any one of those things.
For free fruit.
Definitely not for free fruit, Jeff. Or casual Fridays. I think the whole world's casual now, so I'm not even sure that's a thing. But back in the day, we thought we were so clever and innovative when we had casual Fridays. But those types of token, what I call sort of benefits that organisations think are a great idea, but actually no one really wants or nobody really thinks is valuable. So you've got to kind of tap into the change and influence model of push versus pull. We've got to pull them in. So HR teams need to think about creating meaningful, unmissable rituals, and I use the word rituals. So these are culturally embedded things that go beyond tasks, but tapping into the social intelligence principles of emotional intelligence. So what do people need? What is the empathetic approach to human connection? What are some of the initiatives that we can tap into that are really contextualized for us? And they could be external community-based initiatives. They may be internal initiatives. They may be really simple things. Like one of the most effective initiatives that I did when I was in corporate was a book club. So, those kind of things that we know derive great social value and pleasure, but are bringing people together where the conversation can traverse the workplace, but out of that may come some gem of an idea for the business. And they need to be really implementing strategies for leaders. HR need to be focused on how do I create more micro recognition and ensuring that is becoming a really constant part of a leader's execution every day. The real sense of gratitude, thank you for coming and contributing, and giving them greater autonomy. People need the freedom to operate. So how do we build trust in our culture that allows our leaders to kind of step back and let the people step forward? And in terms of the customization, talking to your workforce, what would you like to see happen? What would work for you? Now, ultimately, there will be a captain's call. You can't do all the crazy ideas that you'll get, but crazy ideas are better than no ideas, and those sorts of inputs just have to be gleaned. And I think the one last thing I'll say is this goes without saying, preventing and responding very quickly to toxic behaviour. It will be your worst enemy. You've got to stamp it out.
That's Marnie Brkenshire, founder of Uncapped Potential. Business Essentials Daily is a SoundCartel podcast. Producers are Nick Schildberger, Jeff Waters and myself. Technical production by Pete Letts. I'm Nicole Goodman. Thanks for listening. We'll bring you more Be Daily next week.